Hello and welcome, and it is in that of 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 16 and a half hours to start the day of the 30th of May 2018. My name's Derek. Like always, everything within your own risk, own reward. I guess I'll call this a crypto day afternoon as a title. Volatility continuing to be the name of the game within the crypto markets. The code Nexus with the ticker symbol NXS. Right now for today, down about 10.8% via the price of Bitcoin. And for me, risk reward management is always job number one. Understanding your risk, understanding your reward, acting upon such. After all, if you are over or underselling, that can be a mistake. So being aware of the fact that your share sizes or coin sizes are pretty close or to where they need to be. And then when it's time to engage, like with Nexus, when the market's going higher, I last sold at 34 and right now it's at 31. I'm waiting for 28, which is a move back to this previous level of resistance, as see if it comes in for support. I think it can go down to 27ish or so, but 28 is more of a safer buy, meaning I have a better chance of buying at 28 than I do at 27 on the way down. That's mathematically guaranteed. So that's how I am playing it. So when the buy comes in, I'll be engaging within the risk for the situation. But I want to spend the vast majority of this time talking about Bitcoin. So let me just bring up the daily term time frame for Bitcoin. And within the short-term situation, of course, it's leaving a declining moving average, so the trend is lower. It has not, at least as of yet, gotten to the 18 average of highs, but that's one of the next steps it's got to do. Step one, get to the lows, and then in between is like the closes, and then it's just a long ways to go when you've been making all of these lower highs within the market system. 1 hour time frame. It was a good setup. I liked how before the big red fall, this thing was huddling near the 18 average of highs. The ones who bought early thinking it was going to have a good breakout, well, they lost. The ones that were waiting for it to have a clear breakout above this resistance at around 75 high, I would think, before they got in, well, they win because it never did do such. And obviously the big move lower. Whenever a good setup, a bullish setup, doesn't transpire, I've seen these down moves happen a lot. Same thing on the law of polarity. When down moves don't transpire, having big moves to the upside. So now you have this situation where I'm going to care about Fibonacci from this low to this high, the biggest, somewhere around 72-ish or so hundred, which would be still a significant higher low from this point, but a significant price correction as well. Then you have 61.8% from this low to this high, because it's got to get above that area, which is roughly around 7,400 and change as of now, to make this selling that of a failed breakdown or create thus that of a higher low. If it does here, you can say an inverted head and shoulders pattern type formation, which is another reason why those formations are good, because for you to first, after creating the head moving into the right shoulder, you have to have a huge rally in this case, get above some key levels just to get up to the neckline. And then you have to have a price correction that makes a very good higher low, and then it needs to rally its full way through and get again past what would the 61.8 be, 61.8%. And overall, this market has got a lot of overall indecision. So the major move, either up or down, is going to transpire soon. It could very easily take a little while still within this market. But when I look at this on the most longest term perspective, I'm just going to give the idea from how I see this. Regardless of how much this falls on charts like the weekly chart, which is resisting this 18 in here, after having this correctionary phase in here, this is number 2 within it, I need to see this tell me it's back bullish again before I can consider the long term in a very solid uptrend. The monthly chart, when I look at monthly chart or a 50-day chart, it's all going to have the rising averages. So very, very long term, these markets are very much in that of a bullish situation. But as you can see weekly, it's just starting to turn over or showing those signs. There are people right now that are saying Bitcoin's dead merely because of the price direction and how it's lost about 3 times its value. If the price goes down to 3,000, there's going to be a heyday of Bitcoin haters that are going to say, hey, I told you. There's going to be a whole bunch of people saying the game is over. A bunch of new people, that is. And there's going to be a bunch of people that'll panic and get out of the market. That's just going to be the case. And it's going to probably be a fast move. And that's if it goes there. What I'm going to say is, I think it's very probable, if it's 50%, it's a coin flip. Very probable is significantly greater than 50%. That without a price correction of great variance or quantities going lower, that you should have a rally at least up to around 6,000 and probably even go a little higher than that into like 7,000 and change. Of course, that would be both bullish and bearish. This 18 average would start to decline like this. And then a move to 6,000 would take it within the 18 average of something like this kind of deal. And on a bullish level, it's pretty safe to say that if the market ends up doing very well again, we get to like 15, 20, 40, 50,000, that before we see those numbers, we'll see that of 6,000 and 7,000. But a lot of people will be saying game over from here. But I'll be saying here, if we don't get any support, or we have that bearish move and we come back to 3,000, a bearish move meaning maybe go from 3,000 to 6,000, then roll over back down to 3. That the next key level and the must hold level at that is 1,000. Oh, the people that would be seeing game over from there. I know a lot of people would. I will basically be saying that this is the next key level. Again, very probable, like it was at 3, for there to be a big move. If the support fails, I would expect the end of Bitcoin to come through such. Now, long term, a move to 1,000 from this low to this high looks to me like about a 38.2% correction. And a full correction, 61.8. But from this low to this high, 6,000 is 23.6 down. 3,000 is 38% down, and 1,000 is the 62% down, or 61.8. And when you have gains this big, you got to expect them to hold the vast majority of them. And any move to here, 61.8% from the last level, it's raring to go. Now, if I see any type of time, at any time I see weakness, if it goes to this 1,000, I see weakness at such where it's looking like it's going to roll over, I'm going to be talking about decent support levels from here, then it'll be my turn to say it would be probably game over for Bitcoin. But not until I see a situation like such, because I don't even know if it would even get to that 1,000. That's a pretty harsh move, or a big correction from here. It could, but it also could not easy. Heck, I don't even know if it's going to get to 3,000. It seems like every single day that it's been going on for several amount of times, it seems as if it's ready to do such, both in here and now again as it's been declining for the last few weeks lately. But it may not get down here. Heck, it may not even get to 6,000. But like I said in the outset, I need to see this thing within the 18 average of highs on these longer term time frames, like a weekly chart, show that the a setup within such is bullish and ready to go. Now, at the cost of doing such, it would be a very high price for Bitcoin, because an example of such a setup would be something like this, where, say, we'll just draw the chart in at first. See, something like here would make the 18 start to rise, and then you'd be breaking resistance in this case at about, well, close to 14,000. So that's the whole point of it. It's just going to be, it's an expensive thing to have happen. But what you get for that cost is you get a more probable chance that this is going to go higher. You got a more probable chance that it's not going to take that much longer to do so. Because when you can get this thing just on the earliest stages of the breakouts, then you can get some very good moves. But it also comes at the cost that if you're wrong, you'll be buying into a bear trap or a failed breakout. And those costs can be dynamic, of course, on the way down. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.